Hello, dear brothers and sisters in the world. Here is Mono from the Netherlands again in part 4 with Sam from Australia with the flat earth, squared earth from Enoch 1. Today we go further where we did left the last time, and that will be the subsurface makeup. So Sam, come in and thank you for being here, and let's start again.
Well, yep, g'day everybody, and g'day to Mono. Welcome everybody, and let's have another good conversation like the previous 3, Mono. It's been good value, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you too, because we all learn from it, and that's the point and the meaning of it.
Okay. Well, that's what I hope. I hope it's something that we can leave behind that is beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I think it is, because we are going to the right way, in my opinion, and I hope all people will see that the same way. So, for now, I will go into that. We did already get it in the last part, so you maybe want to say something about it, or do we go to the next one?
Well, I think I can say one little thing about that I haven't already said.
Okay.
Excuse me. Is that for anybody that has been looking at the azimuthal equidistant circle Earth, flat Earth, you've got to wake up, guys. Go outside, look at the setting sun or the rising sun, setting moon or the rising moon, and have a look at the size of it from where it first arrives at the horizon to about 15 degrees, 20 degrees up from the horizon. You'll never see a shrinking sun or moon. They are always bigger at the horizon and smaller directly overhead. So it's all to do with magnification of, I guess, magnetics, but it's also to do with the lower frequency of the wave as it's passing, coming to you, over the top, and leaving you, the wave of the light. So it's a big thing that absolutely shows the liars of azimuthal, equidistant, controlled flat Earth lie. Yeah. Control your opposition from the front. Okay. There's no shrinking sun or shrinking moon due to perspective. They are bigger. Perspective does play its part, no doubt about it, but it doesn't play the part that they're pushing at everybody. Okay, that'd be the main thing I wanted to add to that one.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. I will because this is a little big one. I will read it.
Yes, mate.
Take some
read it slowly.
Okay.
Read it slowly, because it's one of the it's important.
Yeah. Okay, this is the gyral crystal pyramid. The pyramid that sits over the top of the square plane has sides that are in proportion to the Giza pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is a circular convex gyral crystal lens that splits the source sunbeam into a stronger primary refracted sun and weakens the secondary refracted sun. The source lens beam is continually pointed at the center of the gyral lens, the focal point of the sunbeams coming into the pyramid as seen as the sun up in the sky, viewed from the surface of the plane. Yeah, and with the T-planet plane. The molten metal sphere. Think of the viscosity of the black molten metal that is also holographic, so that as to offer infinite depth in presenting the night background of stars, nebulas, the galaxies. When looking up, if looking up at it from inside the pyramid, this holographic molten sphere is only visible through a power down section of the gyral pyramid nighttime. Yeah, and then in the below it say cross section looking east. July 21st in the north summer solstice. The source lens is using gate and track 6. The tilt of the outer sphere is at the north maximum 11.75 degrees south of the center, and 66.5 marks the southernmost point at which the noon sun is just visible on the July solstice. Beyond that longitude, the sun will not getting over the lens. And there is a lot more into it. We have here the sun projection. Let me make it bigger.
That would be good.
Fans out from stronger to weaker in a holographic manner. Yeah, and that is here. Stronger sun in the north. And here you can see the Tropic of Capricorn, 45.5 degrees, I think. Yeah. And 66.5 the Antarctic Circle, frozen deep. Outer gates, that are the 6 outer gates equated in the middle. And
you'll notice that as you're looking at the screen, that the window is to the right-hand side of center. So it's the laser, the tower, is projecting into the top of this prism to the convex surface. So that's why that is the north summer, because it's the strongest part of that holographic beam is going to the north. The weaker, which is down to me, is our winter sun, a cooler sun. It's not the most direct of the projection of the laser, if you like.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's maybe where they get the laser from.
It is.
Yeah,
it's guaranteed.
Like the
it
CD
is.
player and that kind of thing, and DVD player.
Yeah, well, everything's a counterfeit here. Yeah. Everything on Earth is a counterfeit.
Yeah, okay. This is the moon gate, and the view up into the holographic molten metal sphere is the traditional view we have for here on Earth. So we can show the Milky Way, or maybe find a stock zoom through the stars. To incorporate info into the section of animation that is introducing some details about the outer molten metal sphere. And I will make it bigger for the people so they can read it themselves, because my English is not so well. Yeah, you can stop it for yourself.
You make it, which one? Oh, that one there. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah. So, like this?
Yeah, because I'll read it.
Yeah, I did.
The view.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you did you, mate?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I did it already. But the people can read it themselves too. It's
all right.
Right in the screen. If they put it in full screen, I think that it will be right. Yeah. Lens located at the proportional height of the King's Chamber Giza Pyramid. And that was the long. So the weakest sun is in the south, and the strongest sun is in the north. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that you wanna go on to it?
Well, no. Again, Matt put so much good information on that one that it's a beauty. I like that one. I like sharing that one wherever I can for some people, because if somebody's willing to take the effort to have a read, it's well worth the value of concentrating and reading that particular diagram. The only thing I'd like to add to that is you'll notice the water level on the outside of the celestial sphere, the circle of the Earth. You'll see the water level on the outside, basically up to what you would call the Milky Way, or the rift, the damage, I believe, from the angel wars. And you'll see the water level there, because the sun needs to be the sun, where our suns come from, the as is orb of heaven, needs to be not underwater to be able to achieve its projection in here. So you'll see the blue lines either side of our realm, and that is where we propose that the water that is spoken of actually is.
Okay, so you mean about here?
Yes.
Yeah, and then
yes.
to here. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when we're looking at our smartphones, people, it's liquid crystal display. And you will find that on the inner sphere, on the inside of the celestial sphere, where the stars are placed in the firmament, will be like liquid crystal display. That is the original, and our smartphones are the counterfeit. And this is what the stars travel in. So yeah.
You want to keep it for this one?
Yeah, next slide, mate.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information on that one.
This is a little about the same, but because it have another text, I will read. Source light. The light realm outside the outer sphere is the light source from which the two projected suns come from. The light within the pyramid. Because of the frequency and the nature of the light, the two projected suns are actually holographic in nature and has Merkaba source qualities to it, which is why they emit their own beams and spectrums. And then this one, focusing convex lens. This lens collect and focus the infinity powerful ultraviolet white ambient light emitting, I think. Emitting from the source sun into the laser-like beam.
Emanating, actually.
Yes, it's a little hard to read because if the picture is small, I cannot make them too big.
Well, one of the tricks with this, and it's good actually that it's right now, is that particular surface that's collecting the light from heaven, from Asgard, from Shambhala. If you take off your reading glasses, anybody, and hold it up at night time like I'm doing right now, and just hold it up, and the surface, and it doesn't matter whether you do it the convex way or the concave way, doesn't matter, it's the same. I'm down on the table here right now. I have myself a sun. I have myself a sun down here on the table.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that. And that's all that's doing. It collects the light from heaven, but it collects it in that surface and pow, shoots it down into us through our chiral fluid sky. Voila. It's not that complicated.
No,
the mechanics of the window, as we've said, going from east to west or west to east, that's the hard part. That's the one we haven't cracked yet.
Yeah, and you can make a fire with it too if you put it in the sun.
Exactly.
Your glasses, so to say. Like
exactly. Well, yeah.
How you call it? Not a looking glass, but
magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass. Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
Well, it's the same effect.
Yeah.
Same effect. It's not that complicated. It's the machine or the mechanics of how the window is opened and closed and travels is that's the tricky one.
Yeah.
But the actual mechanism for collecting that light and spearing it into us is not that complicated, really.
No, it's almost all a copy of the Earth himself.
It is.
Because we have the tools we have are also made from Earth's circumstances and options and properties, so to say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go to the next one. This is the day before the equinox.
Yep. So the last one was the North Summer. Now this one is the day before equinox.
Yeah.
Now we're talking coming back to the south. For me, it's coming back to the south, but it's still in the north. It's on the northern side still, only just. This is the day before equinox.
Okay, and the cross section looking east. The day before the equinox, March 19, the sun rises in gate 3. Some projections are nearly equal in strength. That's what it say more about it. The model is a little the same as the one before, so I will go to the next slide.
So another thing I can add there is actually you can see the Giza pyramid on there. That you can see where Matt's drawn the lines there of like the Giza pyramid for the prism. But also you can also what was I going to say now? It was important. What was it? Think. Day before equinox. No, I can't remember. It was important.
Maybe later. We will go to the next one because the model is the same as, and this will be also a kind of the same. But this is the day after equinox. I will read this first. The cross section looking east. The day after equinox, March 21, the magnetic fields mirror the patterns and motion that occurred in the south over the previous 6 months. The sun now rises in from gate 4, sun projections are nearly equal in strength, and as a result of the short lenses beaming more straight down into the gyro lens. These motions repeat themselves again at September equinox, only mirrored the other way. March 10, the moon jumped, let me see, the moon jumped of the sun track 10 days early. Then went into the conjunction with the sun March 17 and 18. The moon will be the start of the new year because of the sun, star, and firmament move to track 4. The two moons, stay in the sun's track into sun's track 4 for full 14 days, then jump on April 2nd to track 1. Okay, and the rest is...
And I mean, isn't that amazing how it jumps on this April 2nd, the next day after April Fool's Day. Now you can bet your bottom dollar that on a leap year it'll be April 1st for April Fool's Day. Yeah. Now, what I wanted to say and it's important as people are looking at this day after day before equinox scenario in our diagrams here, that anybody again that's looking into the circle flat Earth, the azimuthal equidistant, you've got to wake up that there are no seasons in the middle. There is no summer. There is no winter in between the two tropic lines, virtually. There's no summer or winter. The variation between the seasons for the whole 12 months a year is very minimal. It's very minimal. It's only when you get to the tropic lines and then further away north or further away south that the seasons become more pronounced. There is no seasons in the middle, people.
Yeah, there is no snow or ice. It's almost the same heat and that kind of thing. So
12 months a year.
Yeah, it's the same weather, so to say. And
so if you had a circling sun, if you had a circling single orb sun traveling around that is going equally across the Earth for everyone, then the equatorial in between the tropic lines most definitely should have a pronounced summer and a pronounced winter, and they don't. It's holographic, and it's all to do with the projections and the strength of the projection at its extremes, gate 1 and gate 6 for the two summer suns, you see. Yeah. And it's a complete it destroys the azimuthal equidistant. It just totally destroys it. There's no seasons in the middle, people. And also a very important thing that people need to, and it's written there, Matt's written it down, and we've recorded it now numerous times over the past 2 years for sure, Tyson and myself and Don, that everyone thinks that the new moon of the equinox is where the moon jumps the sun, whether it's south or north, but to the other side, equinox. That's not true. If anyone wants to pay attention, the moon actually jumps the sun 10 days earlier. 10 days. The equinox happens 10 days earlier. If you want to call it the moon jumping the sun, it happens 10 days earlier. And what it does then is it'll jump back in probably about 4 days. It jumps back to the middle gates, so the sun, say the sun's in 4, the moon will jump back to 3. Then right at conjunction, then that's when the moon will go to the same gate as the sun. And then when it comes out of conjunction, the new moon is when they call it equinox. But in truth, and anyone can do it, as long as you're not lazy, you can go out 10 days earlier if you're watching, and you'll see the moon jump clearly to the other side of the sun 10 days earlier. And that's in Enoch.
Yeah, great explained. Yeah. We will go to the next one. It will be kind of the same, and only then I will read it again. December 22 in the southern hemisphere, summer solstice, is when the sun is using gate and track 1. The tilt of the firmament is at its south maximum, and the source sun is close to the southern side of the lens. Reflected sun inside the pyramid at the maximum opposite strength. Energy from inside of track 3, although the source sun has risen out of gate 3 earlier than visible for us. From our perspective inside the gyral pyramid, we do not see the projected and refracted sunrise until it reaches the edge of the convex lens that sits at the top of the gyral pyramid. That is the left picture. And then on the right picture, July 21, in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice is when the sun is using gate and track 6. The tilt of the firmament is at its north maximum, and the source sun is closest to the northern side of the lens. The refracted suns inside the pyramid at the maximum opposition in strength. It laser focused Merkaba energy into the two spectrum converted suns, which is what we see from here inside. Depending on the gate, the time of the year, the source sun's position will create a warmer season summer, while the weaker sun will be create the coolest winter season.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what it's all about.
And yeah, it is. I mean, you can see there in actual fact that it's the ring, it's almost the ring that moves. It's the ring, that inner ring. It's the one that's moving. It's the one that's moving. It's tilting. It's tilting. It's probably not even that massive molten metal sphere. It's the inner ring that's tilting. Yeah. It's an amazing setup.
I will show that to the people once again.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they talk about
that one.
Yeah. So this ring is the way you talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
This ring is moving, people.
Yeah, it's tilting.
Yeah.
And it's very apparent again. Whenever you're looking for truth, you've only got to look at the globe fantasy and look at what they've had to use. See, they had to use an axis of, I think, just over 23% or something, 23 degrees. So now what you do is from the middle of gate 3 and 4, the two main gates, as Enoch calls them, halve it. And so and Matt did it earlier, and you go to about 11.75 degrees. That ring will go 11.75 degrees past center.
Yeah,
and then it'll come back to equinox. Then it'll go 11.75 out to the other side. Yeah. And this is the axis that they bullshitted us with on the globe. Yeah, that's your axis. Yeah, and it's the ring. It's Ezekiel's ring. That's what it is. And that's what gives us everything. I say it's not complicated. For me, as we've gone through it, I've grown with it and understand it. So I quite often say, it's simple. It's simple. It's probably not as I look at it, but it is when you take the observable, measurable, repeatable data and observations and then just back engineer them, then it's the only way it can happen. There is no other way. You use what the globe had and you back engineer what they had. See, I remember once, I've got a video on my channel. I did this little video here one night, it'd be 3 years ago, when I realised that the azimuthal equidistant was a second string line. And I thought, sitting here, and all my old alien UFO research come into play, and I was thinking about Hitler and how he was back engineering the spacecraft, and I thought, shit, well, why don't I back engineer the ball? Okay, all right, okay. So I got a piece of paper and I cut it, and I put all the continents in their place just as if it was a ball. Now I knew that Polaris and the North Pole is impossible to be in the middle. So I put the North Pole on top and the South Pole at the bottom, and I back engineered it. And I'd ask anybody here that listens, go and find this little video. It's on my channel. And then I walked over there to my paintings and I just held it up and with my camera and I let it go. And pow! There you go. Square Earth. Boom. Just like that. Just by back engineering the globe, we got a square.
Yeah. Yeah, it is with everything. And what you mean is that if you go from center here top, it's 11.75 to there and 11.75 to here. So you come to the 20, a little more maybe, or a little less, I think, I need to say, because it's 23.4 degrees, of course. Yeah, the tilt, so to say. That makes the summers and winters, which is ridiculous on itself for the ball theory, because the sun says it's so far away. Yeah, so that make no change at all for in
that's for sure. How far away is it again? I give up even.
93 million miles away.
I keep giving up trying to remember it because it just seems so bloody ridiculous.
Yeah,
93 million miles away.
Yeah.
And the slightest little tilt of the Earth makes a difference.
Yeah.
God, jeez. They're on some good drugs. They are. They're on some good drugs.
Yeah. And for the kilometer people, it is 150 million miles away. Kilometers away. Yeah, 150 million kilometers.
Absolute lunacy.
Yeah. Okay, we go to the next one, I think.
Yes, mate.
It's the same, the sun motion and reflection animation sequence, and I will read again. Looking east as the firmament revolves toward us in this diagram from east to west, the sun is seen to rise from gate 3 position, traveling up and around, projecting its energy from inside of track 3. Although the sun has risen out of gate 3, earlier than visible for us again, from our perspective, inside the gyral pyramid, we do not see the projected and refracted sunrise until it reaches the edge of the convex lens that sits on top of the gyral pyramid. That is the left picture, and the right picture is the spherical firmament with source sun inside continues to rise up and arc over us. The sun's white light beams through the focusing Hebrew lens window. We have also a window, Windows 10, Windows 7, and refract it laser focus Merkaba energy into the spectrum converted suns, which is what we see from it here inside. Depending on the gate, time of the year, the source sun position will create a warmer season, again summer, while the weaker sun will create in the cooler winter season the same as the last picture, but now in another angle. Okay, you want to go on maybe?
Well, no, again, I think we've talked a fair bit about it, and the most important part of these little diagrams is the writing underneath that Matt's put in. And people, it's a fan. That's what all of the symbology is from Egypt and the American eagle and the eagle everywhere. It's all to do with the wings, because as a sun that is formed on Earth every morning east, it spreads from north to south like a wings. Either side of equity, the holographic sun is like a wings as it travels east to west. And it's important to realize that. It's a wave as it travels. It's like a wave of frequency. Like Tesla said, everything is frequency and vibration. And the symbology is the wings. Angels' wings, eagles' wings. It's wings, everywhere wings. That is your sun, your one sun, but again, 369, either side of equity, 369. It's twin opposing vortex. As they travel, they're the wings that travel east-west. That's your symbology.
Okay, great explanation. I will go to the next because we have again, the left is the summer solstice in the south. The middle is the equinox, and the summer solstice in the north. So you can see it is here for us on the left.
Tilting.
Yeah, tilting on the left, the ring. This is about the ring, the tilting.
Yeah, it is.
Here it is in the equinox, so straight above, so that is the straight sun. And here it is the summer solstice, and then it's on the right for what we see here. It's a little
and
egg
that's
shape, people, but I made it bigger, so it need to be round, of course.
But that is a very good illustration of what I was explaining 2 slides ago. That is, of the ring and how it tilts.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then we can go to the next one. Now we come here to the Pacific gone again. No 80 plus hours. Now 5 hours of the 12 hours for Hawaii is 7 hours. Within the month to go for solstice. This is a kind of meme-like picture, but do you want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, I can do. I can, because this is, again, vital. There's no Pacific, people. It's not there. All you've got to do is have someone like me honest. You've got to make sure you get honest people. And there's a lot of people that aren't. I'm sorry, but there is a lot of people that are paid to confuse you. Now, what you need to do is have, like me here in Brisbane, and someone in the United States, preferably the Western United States or Hawaii. But so all you do is you stay in contact with each other, and when America gets their dawn, then count the hours that it will be that Australia gets its dawn. And there'll be 12 hours missing. I think off memory, I've got another video on my channel that shows it correctly. I think it goes 6-12-6 from solstice, equinox, solstice, 6-12-6, 12-6, 6, it goes 6-12-6, 6-12-6, 6-12-6. There's never any 18 hours between the Western United States and the Eastern Australia. There's never 18 hours between the two suns. There's only ever 6 hours or 12.
Okay.
And it totally destroys the Pacific. It is not there. We live in a Pac-Man realm, and we should use their propaganda of Pac-Man against them. We should use Pac-Man because they put so much work into making Pac-Man seem ridiculous that we should use it, because that's what it is. We live on a square flat earth, and there is no Pacific. Like in the movie Battleship, they had the Rim Pack Games out near Hawaii, and then in the movie Pacific Rim, it was Australia, Hong Kong, Japan, where they had the Pacific Rim, because the two east and west edges are called the rims. That's what the occult call them. They call them the rims. And then the north and south ice edges are called the edges. And I have had very upset, angry shills that, after I have made them look silly with facts, come to Messenger on Facebook and absolutely abuse me for hours. And I would humor them, because I was only trying to go fishing for information. And as long as they're angry, that narcissistic rage will give you tidbits, will give you cookies, information. And this is where it come from. They actually call the east and west edge the rims, and they call the top and bottom the edges. Okay. So the Pacific is not there. Anyone can prove it. It's not hard. You've just got to get off your bum and find somebody honest, either in Australia, if you're in Australia, in America. If you're in America, you need somebody on the east coast of Australia. And it's done. It's finished. It's over.
Yeah, okay. We go to the next slide.
So I think I explained that one. Oh no. Oh my God.
Edit for later? Edit for later?
No, it's got to be dealt with.
Okay.
It's got to be dealt with.
Okay. Do I need to read it?
I think we've probably already read that one before, haven't we? I think. Yeah, I think we've. Oh, well, I can read the main writing. Where do 1 million people go missing every single year? The tablet of the earth is 3D. And then no J, Jews. There is no J prior to 600 years ago. So where did the Jews come from? They want to twist your brain up with all of these different ridiculous bloody translations and all sorts of craziness. You know, they go to I Zeus. Well, okay, play your games. But now let's just get back to the Jews. What is it? Is it Ius or no? The Jews that say they're Jews but they're not. Well, they're not. They're Sumerians, and they are the ones that are responsible for destroying the Library of Alexandria. Now, the reason that the library was taken out was to hide these land masses that are on Earth today. The sun, the moon, and the truth will not stay hidden. And Buddha was very correct in saying that. That meme come past me, that statement come past me some 3 years ago now. And it hit me like a freight train. Oh my God, I've got to look up. And this is the result. There is a 12-hour section missing from the Atlantic that they put to the Pacific to create the Vedic circle originally some 2,000 years ago. Then they moved on to the ball to create a circle to get us off the square. So the midnight sun in Antarctica is impossible because Australia, Tasmania receives upwards of around 7 to 8 hours pure darkness, black. You can hold your hand up in front of your face and you can't see it at the summer solstice. Same with South Africa. South Africa, I think, gets about 7 hours, or maybe more, but a lot, like 7. Then you can go to South America, which receives, I think it's about 7 hours, pitch black. Now, that is right on the very doorstep of Antarctica, whereas supposedly you get a 24-hour sun. These places should never receive pitch black darkness at the summer solstice. Not ever. It totally debunks the circle and it totally debunks the globe. So you cannot have a 24-hour sun. It shows it to be fake. Just NASA Mark II fakery. So then if you don't have a 24-hour sun south, you can't have a 24-hour sun north. You can't have one and not the other. So that takes away. What you do have is an extended twilight in the north of about 18 hours, but not a 24-hour sun, not an 18-hour sun. It's an extended twilight. That's all. So that all said, that dissipates all circles, gets rid of all circles. And you've got your straight course luminaries, projected luminaries inside here. Okay, so then we've lost a continent with Antarctica. That leaves us with only 6 continents, six continents with Greenland. Now, Greenland, I've seen a good friend of mine do a post on Greenland, and I've never seen so many fake people and profiles come out of the woodwork like rats in a rubbish tip on this particular post. All about Greenland. Well, Greenland is fake. There's a landmass there, but it's not Greenland as you know it. So we have a natural wall of the Amazon jungle, which has hidden that landmass, which you can call Mystery Babylon, which is connected to the daughter of Babylon, the USA. This is all the critters writing in the Bible. Revelations and so forth is their writing. They did this. The Roman Catholics did this. What was it, 33 or something? What do they call them? Scribes. These guys were all Roman Catholic child molesters that scribed the Bible. And now they've said all of this stuff about Mystery Babylon. Well, there it is, people. And I would also call it Sumeria. Then you've got Atlantis, because you've got to pull that 12 hours from the Pacific and put it back where it belongs. It belongs in the Atlantic. And we've still only got 6 continents, see? So we need 7 islands, 7 great islands in the Great Sea. There's your 7 islands. Now, I think it's the figures in America this year alone, just gone, was 450,000 children went missing and were never found. And I know that in Europe, it's upwards of 150-odd thousand. I know it's a high number in Australia. The Western world is just alive with this child trafficking and slavery. Then you've got to take into account Asia, Eurasia, Africa. How many people are going missing per year? I personally think 1 million is very generous. It's underestimating it by probably quite a lot. Now, where are these people going? Well, people, the sad news is they're going out to these hidden land masses. And that is something that I could only hope that people should take very seriously. It's not a toy. You can also remember that the Bermuda Triangle is nothing but sci-fi bloody magic that was invented in the early 19th century by a person like Ron J. Hubbard, who was a fantasy writer that invented Scientology. Well, they did the same thing with the Bermuda Triangle. All it does is create a checkpoint where they can make people disappear without any, oh, no, they've gone into another dimension. Bullshit. They have not. It's a natural wall to stop people venturing where they don't want you to go, and that's out towards where Atlantis is today. Atlantis and Sumeria are still there, and it would be a horrible place to go and have a look at, because the people in control of these land masses, they don't care for human life too much. So they've got a lot of slaves out there, and there will be a lot of really bad stuff going on out there. And I think it's a very important aspect of the whole truth movement. It is part of the reason why I get a little bit upset and passionate, because these things I think about. I don't sit down and it's not me. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. No, that's not me. It's not in my blood. There's children that are suffering. There's people that are suffering badly in these places, and we need to do something about it. And the only way I know is the truth will set you free, the whole truth. So this is a very important meme, and it's part of the truth. It's part of what Enoch 1 is all about, real truth, that people need to wake up and, and not worry about going out for dinner tonight. There's a job to be done. And we need to be passionate. In my case, I need to be humble, more humble than I am. It's been something I have asked for my whole life, to be a more humble person. But we do need to love the truth with all thine heart. And this is the truth, people. So please pay attention. This is really important. This is why we're here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the whole thing. I'm with you on that. We need to care about, because the next day it's your children, and maybe they do experiments on the children. Maybe they make an army with the children, and by indoctrinating them. So it can be a whole lot of things. But the next day it will be your children, and then you wake up. And if you now wake up, you can protect your children also for the things, just like Halloween and that kind of things.
Absolutely, Mono. Yeah, we've got to care, and it's part of this whole deal that, and it may have been Yehoshua, that our true power of our spirit and our dominion in our electric realm doesn't come from the fluffy love of the New Age movement, which they give us, because it disempowers us. Our true ability of projecting our thoughts and our reality to this realm that we live in, that we were given dominion over, comes from a broken heart. It comes from a heart that is broken for what it sees happening upon earth. Now, if you see this and understand what we've just been talking about, then your heart should be bloody aching. It should be hurting, because there's people. It's about caring about other people before ourselves. We need to care about other people more than we care about ourselves. And if everyone did that, we would be living in a beautiful realm of compassion, empathy, love, and care. Yeah. It's as simple as looking after your fellow man. And I love where Yehoshua says, if a man takes your shirt, then give him, if he takes your jumper, give him your shirt. Don't hold on to your belongings as if they're your security. Give them away freely, and they will come back to you tenfold. And this is the trick. And I think it's part of what this whole system's scared of. They're scared of karma, the greatest law of all cosmic laws. They're scared of karma. That's why they've told us everything, but they've confused it and put it in all little tiny little bits in every book. And that's why they've had the Muslims, the Christians, the Buddhists all against each other, so that no one reads all three books. Yeah. Well, I seen this originally, and that's why I read all three books. That's why I studied all the books, because I could tell that that's what they'd done. They used our own lower thinking, aggressive thinking that they installed in us to stop us from finding the truth. There's truth in all the old books. You've just got to discern it with your heart and then prove all things. Yeah. So it's really important, this meme, I think. Yeah. This is one of the biggest things that they're hiding, and their karma is got to be brought to bear. And I think that is how they will be judged. They will be judged. And I don't know yet. I want to do a live video myself in the research group, and that is that I have a gut feeling from the right spirit and frame of mental, physical, and emotional, if we may well be able to enact the law of karma. We well may be able to. I believe, I've got a very strong inclination feeling we may be able to somehow engage the law of karma against them.
Yeah, I think because they tell everything in a hidden way, of course. So yep. That's how they want to escape the karma. And I think that you are right. We can give them the karma back by not accepting. And I want to say something else. Yep. You say, of course, about the New Age, and just the hippie time in the 70s, that was also created by the same people to lead astray or lead away from the Vietnam War, of course, because most people were not happy with that, of course. Yeah. So almost all is created, and never forget that. That is very important. So if you get some information, look it up for yourself, if it is right, if it is logical, if it is easy to understand. And I think we do. Go on.
A couple of other things I'll say just quickly here for people to do for themselves. I was drawn today to watch Peter Pan, the movie Peter Pan, because something told me to. And as it shows in Peter Pan, the Neverworld, I think it is, or the Netherworld, where all the orphans are taken to work in mines for pixie dust or whatever, right? And then I would ask people to go onto YouTube and Google a song. This song it's by the Hooters, I think it's Hooters, Hooters, and it's called "Where Do All the Children Go?" Please go and YouTube it and then even bring up a lyrics copy and have a look and listen.
European royals killing
and then you've got the Pied Piper playing his music, drawing all the children away. Well, this is where the children are going, people. Not all of them. A lot, we know that a lot have sacrificed to get their, what's it called, Mono, that chrome, adrenochrome. But most are going to these land masses. It's crazy stuff. It is really crazy stuff, people. Are you punching in that song, are you, buddy?
Yeah, I am searching for it to see if I can find it so I can show it to the people.
It's a powerful song. It's a powerful song. The Hooters, I think it is.
Yeah, the Hooters.
Where do it is? Yeah. So where do all the children go?
Where do all the children go? Yeah, Hooters.
Oh, it makes you sad when you listen to it.
1985. So
yep.
I will put the link in the description. I will add it.
Yeah, good on you, bud.
And I will add it in the description, of course.
Good on you, man.
We go to the next slide now, and it will be a little about the same. Yeah, about the seventh continent.
Well, yeah. That's a beauty. Yeah. Because I use this one all the time because it is a powerful meme. All the control agents of the azimuthal equidistant controlled lie, they hate it when I put this one up. They don't like this one because there you go, 8.5 hours jet black. You can put your hand in front of your face in Tasmania and it's black night at summer solstice. 9.5 hours black, South Africa. 7 hours black, where you can just about throw a stone to Antarctica. And yet they want to tell you it's got a 24-hour sun. Come on, people. Come on. Come on. It's just absolute lunacy that we believe this shit. Now, it doesn't work on a ball, and it doesn't work on an azimuthal equidistant map. So we're missing a continent. Greenland is not bloody covered in ice. It's not where they say it is. It's actually in line with Brazil. So Brazil comes across to center at the axis point, and 6, being Greenland, will be Atlantis, which will come down where it's always been said to be, between the United States and northern Africa. Then you've got number 7 over there on the edge, Sumeria. There's your 7 continents. Okay. And that is undeniable. It debunks any circle or ball. Earth is flat, square, fact. It's done.
Yeah. I want to add something about the EA map. For a lot of people is, of course, I am not high educated, and there are a lot of people with me not high educated.
Well, I can say the same thing. I'm not, but I think well.
Yeah, but what I would say is to not have a fixed belief into the EA map, because that is what happened. People have a fixed belief from the ball into the EA map, and I think we need to see everything as information until the real thing comes up, and I think we are on to this now. Yeah, or in this case, you are on to this with the people you're working with.
Well, as I say often too, when I came off the azimuthal equidistant circle, I was in a bad way because it hurt me. It really hurt me and I was stupid. I was foolish because I trusted them again. And then my trust was blown again, and it bloody hurt. So then I done a lot of soul searching and praying to, what do I do now, Father? Well, how do I go about this? What's going on? I was destroyed, and I was told that what I need to do now is I need to make it so any observations that we bring forward, that Mum and Dad and the children, because most of this information a 10-year-old can do themselves, because then there's a lot more to do with the moon's movements and that people haven't seen. But you can walk outside, or you can actually do the research yourself very easily and prove it for yourself. You don't have to just take my word. They want to try and call me some sort of cult leader, and I'm no cult leader. I'm nobody. I'm just a normal man. But I just got hurt again, and I decided that I need to make it so Mum and Dad and the children can prove it for themselves.
Okay. I think you're right with that, because with this model I understand better how it works than with the circle model, I need to say. And it is for me obvious that that with the gates that is truth, so to say. Yeah, I always think I search for things that are true, but I think the gate because I can see that clearly now. Because I did make the last 3-4 years only videos of the sun, the moon, the chemtrails, and of course because of the chemtrails again the sun and the moon, and I think you are straight to the point there.
Well, it's another important issue for everyone to realise about the human mind, about the mankind mind, is we have a thing called hypersensitivity. And that is that I've got not a brand new one, that's for sure, but I've got a 2000 model BMW down in my garage. And when I first looked at buying it some 6 years ago, I very rarely ever seen BMWs on the road. I didn't see very many BMWs at all. But, the moment that I brought it and I was driving it, I started seeing BMWs everywhere.
Holy, yeah.
They're everywhere. Yeah. And it's the same if you were to buy a pair of shoes. You don't see that particular pair of shoes anywhere. But you go and buy them, all of a sudden you will start to see them everywhere. Yeah. And now this is a really powerful instrument within our own mind, that the controllers of this lie, they actually know how we work better than we do. Yeah. And once you see something like this particular meme we're looking at now, or the moon movements, once you see it, once you absolutely see it jump from one pass to another, 30 degrees, it'll come up in a different place, then all of a sudden your hypersensitivity switched on. Yeah. And all of a sudden everything starts to appear where I didn't see that before. What's going on? Well, it's because your hypersensitivity is switched on that particular issue. Then you've got to realize that, well, hang on, what else am I not seeing? And this is when you really start to open up and start to see the truth. Yeah. That's what happened with me.
Yeah, I am with you, and very well said, I need to say. And very well explained in the way that everybody understands it. And that's very important. Okay, I go to the next slide, and that will be about the Skylens and the Crystal Sea, and how it works a little. And yeah. After this we go to the moons, and maybe we can do 2 moons or something, and then it's done. Refracted image of the candle is reversed and upside down, and to which one of the Charo Fluid, Skylens, Crystal Sea, and white light must be polarized, then refracted through I cannot read it, through side angle. White light must be
polarized,
then refracted through. Yeah, I cannot read it.
Okay. Yeah, well, the point is, a rainbow is a second polarization. When we see a rainbow, it's a second polarization that we're seeing. It's not the first. The first is when it comes through the Charel fluid of the convex surface of the sky. That's the first polarization. The first polarization from white light to the 7-chakra, 7-colored rainbow. That's your first polarization as it comes through the sky, crystalline sea, liquid crystal sky. It's the crystal sea. Sapphire sea is the word I was looking for. That's its first polarization. But then when it rains, and you've got, rains or showers, it creates the next polarization. And I think it's an angle of about 42 degrees to the person that's viewing it will see the rainbow. Now, you've got to think, they always try and use all different excuses. Why do you get that dome shape? Because of the convex surface of the first polarization. The first polarization, that's an evidence of why we get the summer arcs, why the moon, whenever it's in gate 1 or 6, does the same arc as the sun does in summer. it's all evidence of the convex surface to the chiral fluid plasma sky. That's what it is. And as you see there with the eye as it flips, and they always say how it flips everything backwards, what that is in between down the bottom, that's your spread out fan, your two wings of the holographic light, the sun as it's traveling east to west. Now, enter the stars. Now, you got to think, what was this guy? What I was a farmer. And I was just a man, an average man. Enter the Stars brought out this ridiculous thing where what he did was he flipped that on it up back to front. He had us living down on the lens. It's disinfo, people. He used to be a drug dealer. He's a freaking pharmaceutical dealer, a pharmakia, and he's pushing Jesus like there's no tomorrow. He's a bullshit artist. So anyway, my point is, this is another deception that's showing us that the truth is there, but he only gave us, what did he give us? He might have given us 10%. And then Jeranism will give us 10%. Mark Sargent will give us 10%. Then there was the concave earth. What was his name? Lord Stephen Christ or something. He gave us 10%. They all give us about 10%. Again, they're trying to dodge the law of karma. This is the truth of how the suns come in here. That's how they come in here. They're projected in very similar to that.
Okay.
And I will add, I got to add that why was it written in the Bible that I will give you the rainbow as a covenant? A covenant is a cover note. It's a contract, a promise note. I'm going to give you a promise that I'm not going to destroy the earth again. Now, can I repeat that? I'm not going to destroy the earth again. I'm not going to allow it to be destroyed again. That's my promise. What is that promise then? How is the rainbow excuse me. How is the rainbow created? It's created because the prism is in place. And it was put in place after the angel wars. And the promise was given to us that the prism is in place. I'm not going to allow the earth to be destroyed again. You know? And so that's why the rainbow is the second polarization from where the original white light of source is projected through the convex surface of the upper surface of the sky prism. And that's our promise. And in Enoch, every word of Enoch should be read, reread, and reread. It's a textbook. It's not a book you read from cover to cover and put away. You must read it, reread it, and reread it. It will tell you things every time you read it. And in Enoch, he said that all the kings and the queens, basically the elite, will be judged. And like their teeth will be smashed or something. But he says they will be judged by the righteous and the elect in the streets. Well, you've got to have streets first. So that means very similar to what I just said about the rainbow promise, that the earth will not be destroyed again. Well, in Enoch, there's streets. So the earth has not been reset. It has not been destroyed again. So we're in for a bit of a ride. I've said to many people with Hillary Clinton talking so much about bringing the sky down. They need the sky down to open the door at the southern access point to other realms. I'm probably getting a little bit fancy now, but this is the facts. You've only got to look into Norse mythology and so forth. There's, and you know, in the Bible, in Revelations, it's there writing. Men's hearts will stop for what they see come up on the earth. Well, they're going to, you know, there's realms of giants. They want to bring the sky down to open the doors to allow their mates in for help. And they're not going to be able to. And I truly believe that, because we were given a promise, and the rainbow is our promise, and Enoch backs it up.
Yeah, and I want to add we did hear Trump say because of North Korea, there will be fire and fury, and that will be created, of course, by themselves. And if the people listen to what they say, they give some messages already what they want to do, and most people know that, of course, because there's all subliminal messages in The Simpsons and Family Guy, also in animations like that. So if you listen good, you can already find out what they want to do. Seattle with the Space Needle will be involved, I think, next year. And this is not a prediction, but I think that will happen next year because they talk a lot about that on that animations, and there are a lot more things. But
you've also keep going, mate.
Go on.
You've also got to take into account and stretch your thinking. You've got to stretch your thinking. What they're showing you, you've got to try and go about another 2 levels because they're trying to and suggest. They're doing suggestive programming to us.
Yeah.
So all of this Hillary Clinton stuff, bringing the sky down, and all of this other stuff, it's suggestive programming. Why are they doing this suggestive programming? It's not solely just because they're egomaniac psychopaths. They're trying to install that into our minds as a picture that we see. Why? Because we were given dominion in here. And if we start to visualize these pictures, then I truly believe we're living in a digital realm that we then start becoming creators of their reality, of what they want. And we've got to be aware of that. And I was watching The Truman Show today, and I come out to have a cigarette and just letting thoughts roll through my mind. And I thought to myself, well, okay, if we were part of a movie, if we were actors all playing a part in a show, if I was an actor that didn't want to be a part of the show anymore or wanted to destroy that particular play, what would I do? What would I have to do? And I sat here and just let my mind flow, and the words came to me, I would need to write my own script. That's how I would destroy it. I would have to write my own script against, and not speak their script, not think their script. I've got to write my own script. And I think we all do. The more we get into Enoch 1 and the true home of and the cosmology, there's so much I could say, and I'm not saying, that we absolutely, I believe, because Enoch talks, it's only for those that can lift their head up and hear the Creator with their horns, with their pineal gland, with their pituitary gland, with their third eye, with their ability to write their own script onto the digital matrix. Neo. And this is important. And this is one of the things that I'm trying to get through to people in the research group especially. I want to do a live video on it because it's a very important issue that is really coming to the surface now more than ever, I believe.
Okay.
Did I say that in a way that could be understood, Mono?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not easy.
No, but people need also think for themselves, and we all need, me too, so I'm included, you are included, we all need to think for ourselves, because we are played like nothing, of course, yeah?
Yes, mate.
I want to keep it by this, it were wise words, I want to keep it with it and put it to an end now. And the next time we will talk about the 2 moons, and they are taken from different places. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and Sam, you also thanks again for being here and explaining this.
My pleasure.
Was a very wise words in this part, for real. So if you want to say something, say it, and then
good on you, bud. Yes, boss. I'd just like to say thank you to you again, Mono. I'm totally appreciative, mate, of all your assistance, and to thank everybody. And I just, supplication, prayer, meditation, these are all important things. We've got to overcome our ego. Stop that bullshit chatter up in our head and listen to the Most High, host of all heaven, electricity, the creators. They want to talk to us. They want to help us. But we've got to be able to get ourselves out of the bloody road so that we can hear. Thank you very much to everybody.
Okay, thank you everybody. And we say again, peace in the world.
Peace.
Later on.
Good on you.